Hello and welcome to this VGC Podcast special with me, Jordan Midler. I am joined by the one and only Joe Merrick. Joe, how are you doing?
I'm a bit tired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You not got a website to be updating this weekend?
Yeah, and you're keeping me from it.
Yeah, well, I've been trying to chase you down for all this time. Obviously, if you don't know Joe, he is the webmaster of Serebii. Is that the official title you like to go for?
Yeah, it used to be a thing in the 90s. No one uses it anymore, but I still use it.
Yeah. So I wanted to chat to you because obviously Pokemon 30, massively significant milestone, and I wanted to chat to what is the biggest non-official Pokemon site in the world. Is that fair to say?
Some would argue otherwise, but yeah, I would say so.
It's the biggest to me, and that's all that matters. It's the first Pokemon website I remember visiting, and in the Diamond and Pearl era, looking at like the magazine scans and the translations, and be like, "What? This is mental. What do you mean a Nintendo DS Pokemon game?" So for people that don't know, how long have you been at it, and kind of how did it all start?
I've been at it for 26 and a half years now. It basically started, I was bored at school one time. It's like Pokemon just started coming out here in the UK. I'd been playing it for a while because I had the copy imported. My parents got it from me from America. And basically I was bored at school. We're in the computer lab. Computer labs were so new back then. I'm talking 90s. You're on Windows 98. It's like proper old school stuff. It's like 5 megabytes of RAM, things like that. Were
you being taught how to make websites, or did you just do it of your own accord?
No, I did it of my own accord. It was during lunchtime one day, and like we were just messing about, and it's like there were like sites like GeoCities where you could like create your own website. I think there's things like Squarespace today, but free and worse. And basically, so I started doing it there. I thought Pokemon's a thing, I'll just make a generic Pokemon page showing Pokemon.
And did you have the idea of it being like a database to start with, or when did the angle of what would become kind of modern Serebii come to you?
It's really hard to say. I think it really started getting to that towards the end of Generation 2. I basically ended up hitting it big because I had a friend who lived in Okinawa. And no other English-speaking Pokemon website was covering the Japanese elements. And so I was getting some of the Japanese news out there, and so I was posting that, and that's how people started to get to the site, and I started more and more just collating everything. And then Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire hit, and I was like, I'm going to cover this game, put everything up on launch, because, English Pokemon fans, they had no idea.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I'm going to do that. And I did. And it crashed the server. I was kicked off of the server I was on because it was too much. I mean, it's like the equivalent of about an hour's traffic nowadays. And yet that pushed me off, and the site was down for about 6 months at that point.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah. And in that era, I always wondered this because it wasn't pre-internet, 'cause it's literally a website, but it was pre the widespread availability of this kind of information about games. And when they're brand new like that, how are you getting the information you were getting, like especially in terms of like distribution and all the complete Pokedex? Like, you seem to have information before it was reasonably possible to have it.
I mean, that's just persistence, really. It's basically just, you get the game, I rush through it, I catalogue everything as I go, I ignore sleep. Sometimes I forget to eat. It's not healthy. I get that.
Is that still the same way you cover modern games?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I was less on it then as I am now. It's like there was a time in 2026, not 2026, that's this year, in 2006. It was when they revealed the Sinnoh First Partner Pokemon. I was out and about with friends. I had a message from a friend saying they've revealed this in Korokoro. And I was like, oh, okay, I'll deal with that when I get home. You would not get me saying that now. I would be running to the bus or a taxi to get home if I didn't have a laptop on me.
Yeah, the people we frequent at these events recall you. Was it at Van Gogh when things were happening and you had to whip your Surface out and start typing away?
There's many such examples. Like at the Van Gogh Museum, it was basically the merchandise for that dropped literally as I was waiting to go into a special preview for it. So I had my laptop out, I was covering that. Ross had his laptop out, that PCCG radio, and he had his laptop out doing the same. And there's other examples. We had a Pokemon Sleep preview once, and we were in like this like country manor house just outside of London, and they put us on a nature walk. And during that, the Pokemon Go 7th anniversary event was announced, 7th or 8th. And I was like, right, laptop out as we were walking. And I know a lot of our friends continue to bring that instance up because it's seared into their memories of them realising, wow, he's dedicated, or wow, he's insane.
Going back to the early days, what were some of the challenges of covering Pokemon then? Because obviously it's a franchise that is prone to fakes. Fake starters were always a great. Am I imagining this was a Serebii page about fakes and fake starters for a while? I feel like I remember that. Yeah.
Basically, I don't know if you know, I don't like misinformation.
I'm very aware.
So basically what I did was I made this fake Pokemon page to put the like current known fakes in it so people could reference that and say, oh, is this here? Oh, okay, then it's fake. Or is it here? Oh, it might not be fake. Should I message him? But the issue with that is people then started making the fakes to see if I would post it. And that's when I dropped it because it's like, no. And now there's so many. It's like...
Yeah, it's a different era. It's like Serebii is a website from a different time in the internet. And that brings me to my next question. I think it's excellent that it basically looks exactly as it did when I first started using it. Is that a functional thing, or is that just the way you like it? Is there no reason to change it?
So in 2019, 2018 to 2019, I worked on my site's mobile layout. And with that, it basically required a massive recode of the entire site ground up. And from that, I demoed so many different modern layout styles, and none of them fit. They fit like blogs. Yeah. They fit news sites where it's like you've got this main stuff and then everything else that just falls to the wayside once it's no longer relevant. With Pokemon, that's not the case. You need to have like even... People still even go to my Pokemon Heart Gold Soul Silver section. That's actually one of the most popular sections continually daily. They get people going to the Pokemon Pinball section. It's like, even though it's like old and maybe even a bit niche, people still check it. And so I need people to have early access. And what I do is I follow the old mantra of the internet of web design. You need to have a page accessible within 3 clicks of any other page on a website. If you don't, then people are not going to bother. Yeah. And I still follow that, ignoring search, obviously, because if you search and then you've got a click. But within any other page of a site, I try to have everything within 3 clicks. And that's classic web design. I will always stick to that. And so with the mobile layout, I couldn't get a modern layout working. And so what I was like is, okay, what I'll basically do is I'll do it just how the site has been since 2004, but with like modern technologies. Yeah. And so that allowed me to turn the sidebars into like drop down menus and sidebars which come in and come out on mobile. And I had to do a lot of coding cheats to do it because mobile website layouts, they have to render in around 300 pixels. And that's just not enough. Yeah. And so I basically trick every browser to render it at about 780 pixels wide. And then just alter all the fonts and the images accordingly. Because somehow that works better than if I try to shrink everything down. I don't know how that's a thing. I have no idea why that's a thing.
I can imagine you obsessed over this at the time.
It took so long to get this layout working. And then I put it up and people were happy with the mobile layout because 70%, 80% of web traffic is mobile now.
I don't like using Serebii on my mobile because it feels like cheating. I feel like I need the proper web experience of Serebii because it's the only thing that can still connect me to like the first times going on the computer, and I know how to navigate the website back and forward. Like I've been on every page on that site. I wanted to ask, what are some of the pages that do the most that are sort of off the beaten path. One of my guesses was, does the banned episodes of the anime do a lot?
Not really, not as much as you'd think.
Because that fascinated me when I was young. When I first saw that, I was like, what do you mean there's banned episodes? I obsessed over that page.
I guess because there's been no banned episodes. Well, there was one in 2018.
But even then, that's almost 10 years ago now.
Yeah. Oh, God. But it's like there's so very few these days, and a lot of them are out and about there. I mean, most of them are still on Amazon Prime in Japan.
Yeah.
I think the only one which isn't is the Porygon episode, but the rest, they're still out there. They're only banned in the West. It's like 4 Kids didn't want to dub them, or they dubbed them and they didn't want to release it. Do
you think that's the lack of kind of banned episodes now, and the level of controversy I feel like Pokemon goes through is much less? Do you think that's just they have a better control over everything, and they're not having to firefight Pokemania stuff at the same time?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Back in the olden days, you know, in my day when I was young, it was basically, there was no consistency between every element of a brand. I mean, there was some, but it was, every arm was basically left to do its own thing. Whereas now it's much more symbiotic.
Yeah.
And so it all works together. It all comes together.
There's a part of me that sort of misses that era of Pokemon when it was everything was less on model, and you would get like interesting art and things like this that would just come out of nowhere before. And I understand because of the size of the brand, it's bigger than Disney, so it has to all be one thing. But do you get nostalgic for that time period?
Sometimes. I mean, it's a simpler time. I mean, covering a game is a simpler thing to do. You don't have to like go through an open world and map out every single item.
Well, you still do that. You do it like, didn't you do every bench in ZA or something like that?
I did do every bench in ZA, and I've been called out by some people we know for doing that. And it's like for future games, they're like, are you still going to map this? I'm like, yeah. I enjoyed doing my maps.
Yeah, they're extremely helpful. But honestly, I think sites like Serebii and the change of the internet culture, I think is why things like event distribution stopped and they moved to a wider way of getting things, because finding out via your site that there was Pokemon that I would never have any possible chance of getting was such a downer. And I think that in that era of the internet they could get away with it, but not at this point anymore.
Yeah, I mean, you see that when there's any event distribution, there's always a complaint. If it's like just like a generic Lycanroc, people say, why should we get this? What's special about it? And then when you get something special, people are like, why are they giving this like this? Everyone should have access to it no matter what. It's like they can't win with event distributions. And that's why they have calmed down a bit. Used to be like 40-50 from Japan a year, now there's like 15.
I do get that. It was nice back then when they did event distributions and there was like a bit of gameplay tied to it, like a specific land or like a specific little small quest. And now there's a lot of Pokemon that you're just kind of given and there's like nothing attached to it, which is a bit of a shame. But
I imagine that's basically doing their research. I think they might have even mentioned this in an interview. I think Masuda mentioned it once, where basically their research showed that people would get the item, but then they wouldn't
do the mission. Yeah. Man, I used to covet Arceus so badly when I first learned about that, and the whole story about them thinking it was too complicated to bring outside of Japan and stuff like that, it just added to a bit of the kind of the mystique of the entire thing back then. What do you think was the hardest game to cover, let's say prior to the Switch era?
Pokemon Go.
How did you even approach that?
I didn't think it was going to do well. I have egg on my face for that. When the pre-release stuff was coming, I was like, why are they doing this? This is not going to do well. I was very anti-mobile game at that point. You wouldn't think of it when you look at my site today if you scroll through the news. And basically, I was thinking this isn't going to do well. And every time there was news released or footage or pictures, people were like, this looks awful. And then it released. And it was just so tricky. It's like, how do you document this? And I even considered doing a map at one point, but obviously the spawns are like every 5, they change like
the ultimate Serebii map of the entire world.
Yeah, I mean, my location database was originally conceptualized as like that. But I never really got around to doing actual interactive maps until Legends Arceus. But yeah, Pokemon Go was really, really hard, and I really dropped the ball. I didn't take it seriously. And so other sites, they shot up and did it. I still covered it, but you could tell my heart wasn't really in it. Then I, eventually changed my mind, and then I went full hog in it. And now my Pokemon Go section is always in the top 5 to 10 sections in a day. So,
is that why you're the world's #1 resource for Cafe Remix, just in case that's the next big hit?
I am so proud of my Cafe Remix section. I mean, no one else really covers it. Even the other big sites, they surface level it. They've upped their game lately, but I'm really proud of that section. How you can just look at one of the order pages and it's like, oh, well, these are all the gimmicks. You click the gimmick and then it will show every single order that it's got and every single Pokemon that has got it. And so that's just... I'm proud of that section. Don't mock that section.
I am being 100% sincere. I love how, and I know for a fact that if there's the slightest bit of thing that I've missed or it's not part of a PR release, I can just check and it's always there. So it's 100% sincere. If you ever take your foot off the gas whatsoever, a lot of sites will crumble to the ground because of that.
Yeah.
What's been the most challenging moment for Serebii as a site for you personally?
Challenging in what way?
In terms of, I don't know if this is the case, but have you ever put up something that you were duped into believing, or there was anything that you thought that you could have handled in a better way, kind of as a site?
Well, like I mentioned, Pokemon Go, I dropped the ball on that. Whoops. But I have posted a couple of fakes by mistake. Basically, when the site was posting about Korokoro, when Korokoro used to have things, it used to drop during the middle of the night. And people would sometimes post fakes, and I would get a friend wake me up so that I could post it, and they got duped, and I was half asleep, and I put it up, and then I was like, hang on, the Japanese in this is awful, and so I took it down. It was up for about a minute, and people still bring that up.
Even though the Korokoro era ended a long time ago at this point.
Dude, I think Ultra Sun Ultra Moon was the last one with it, really. Oh, that was 10 years ago.
So, I'm also interested in your relationship with Pokemon, because for the longest time I thought, if Pokemon wanted to, I know that Pokemon use Serebii as a source for when they need to look at stuff. So, what was kind of your earliest contact with them? How long ago was it? And was it a tumultuous relationship, which I assume, by the way you're laughing?
They might be mad at me for bringing this up. No, it's public information. In 2010, it was my first proper interactions with them, and I got cease and desist from Nintendo of America. So technically not Pokemon.
Yeah.
Because I posted leaked content. Because I used to often post leaked content, and that now I know better. I know enough people in the industry to know how leaked content can not just damage enthusiasm, damage morale, but I know people have lost jobs because of that, not because they leaked it, but because companies have restructured to deal with leaks. That's why I don't post leaks anymore, because I know the whole thing about it. And so, I had to cease and desist. That was fun. The lawyer was very heavy-handed, and I think went outside of what Nintendo wanted. Nintendo wanted the specific images removed. The lawyer said, remove all Pokemon images. I was like, oh. But eventually, I just put the images back up, had no issues. Not the leaked images, obviously. And a few years later, the PR company working for Pokemon in America reached out and started sending me press releases and give me some opportunities. And then in 2017, my wife, who I just started seeing, she worked for Red Bull freelance, and she got me invited to an event here. But I had some interactions, just going back through my head. I had some interactions with the head of organised play, Chris Brown, in 2015. And basically that really started things, I think. And after the event that my now wife got me a +1 to, that's when I really started talking to Pokemon more and more. And then I started going to World Championships on my own money.
Yeah.
But they gave me a pass. And so from there, it just grew, and it's grown and grown and grown ever since. And I'd like to think I've got a good relationship. I give him criticism.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm sure you've heard me give criticism to them. And so it's not like I'm just, worshipping them, or I'm scared of, rocking the boat. But I think we've got a good relationship now. And it's given me some good opportunities, like previews that I've done, like when I got to play Scarlet and Violet on the Switch 2 before the Switch 2 was out. Very few people got that.
Yeah.
And I am truly thankful that I got an opportunity like that.
It was like me and you and like one other person in that room.
Yeah.
Like it was very quiet. But I think that it's interesting because there would have been a lot of companies that just totally shut it down because it is, especially a company, and we've said this to them, they're not super keen on very old stuff being forwarded. Like, there's a reason that they take so long or perhaps never put old games back out. It's all about like the current thing, the current branding. It's fine to have legacy games, like they have their retro section here at EUIC, which retro section featuring games that came out when I was like 25, which is funny. But
yeah, I saw Legends Arceus there. I was like, hang on a minute.
But especially a site that has all of that, all the kind of nooks and crannies, all the kind of issues that went on for all of those different generations. I'm glad that it's not something that they kind of shy away from, because you'd perhaps expect it. Just as we kind of come to the last section of this, where do you think Pokemon is right now in the context of, obviously we're about to go into 30th generation, 30th anniversary and the 10th generation. On the video game side, we'll start with the video game side. Do you think they have a lot to prove with the next one?
So, obviously, Scarlet and Violet released as a mess. They did fix most of the bugs which went viral in the day one patch, but you don't get people saying that. They like, oh, this was a mess, and they share the same pictures and videos over and over. But because of that, it does have a bit of a reputation, and people use the one instance as, like, this is how it's always been. It's like, no, it's not. You were praising Legends Arceus just a few months ago. Shush. So I think going into Gen 10 with the main series Pokemon games, they have to nail this.
Yeah.
Because if they have a similar situation to Scarlet and Violet happening, even though Scarlet and Violet are fantastic games, if they have the same situation with performance happening for Gen 10, that's not going to be good. And I don't want to deal with that fallout either. Because as much as Pokemon has to deal with it, I have to deal with it.
Yeah. I assume that, we've seen how the Switch games run on Switch 2. They run very well. You'd hope that goes forward to not a Switch 1 game running on Switch 2, a full-on Switch 2 experience. But switching sides slightly, the TCG side of things.
Yes. Trying to be diplomatic here.
I think that, and this might not be popular, I genuinely think Pokemon is doing all it can to print product.
I 100% did. They bought like a massive campus in America recently for Millennium Print.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not going to open for another year, but they are pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. They opened another one in the Netherlands recently.
They have warehouses going 24/7 public printing things, and there is a lot more product than a lot of the Pokebros would like you to believe there is. Like, it has gotten much better, but where do you think it is generally?
Well, like you say, I can't remember. I think it's 10.7% of all cards ever printed were printed in the last fiscal year.
Yeah.
I think it's around that number. I know it's gone down from the previous year, but that's because the main number's gone higher. That's just how percentages work. And so they are doing what they can. I mean, they even bought a logistics company to help ship it. I mean, a lot of people don't know that, but they bought a logistics company to just help ship just Pokemon cards. I mean, you don't do that if you're not taking it seriously. Obviously, Pokemon are trying to deal with it in their own way. Like, the latest sets, like we've got Perfect Order coming, we've just had Phantasmal Flames. They're small sets. And so that means it's going to be, in general, easier to get specific cards because it's not like a 250 card set. It's a total of 120 cards. And so making small sets, less as frequent as they are, that's 4 a year, as it has been for decades now. That's going to help. I would say they need to stop putting Charizard on it. No Charizard, no Umbreon, no Canary or Lily or anything like that. Just have a time, like a year or two, like that. The people who don't care about Pokemon, who are just in it because, you know, they want money, they should leave.
It felt like they had a little bit of a quiet period towards like the very tail end of Sword and Shield era, where there was a couple of sets that sat around for a long time. It was really easy to get them, and then I feel like Base, Paldea and Obsidian were really easy to get for a long time, and then I feel like some of those cards were artificially hyped up, as it always is, and then suddenly Paldea Evolved, a set that I was getting booster boxes for £80 for, is now, just because of that Magikarp, like crazy. So it's really unfortunate. I don't think people will blame Pokemon, obviously, but I think this is one instance where they actually can't be blamed because there is nothing else they can do.
Yeah, they're doing everything they can. They are flooding the market as much as possible, but if you're flooding the market and someone's there with all the buckets in the world to pick it up, what can you do? And
also, I'm aware that people have issues with the Pokemon Center website. It's always difficult, but the amount of traffic that website gets when a PC ETB goes up, there are few websites on Earth that could handle it, so it's...
I mean, there's one.
I think there are some things they could do around it. I wouldn't mind seeing the PC ETBs come to an end. I think that would make things much easier to get as well, because the stamped promos become an issue. I wouldn't mind if they started doing open pre-orders like some places do, where you're not going to get this card for 8 months, but we'll do this amount of pre-orders.
I know Japan's done that before, and Japan's got the issues mostly sorted now.
Yeah,
but they did a point where you order and they produce to the amount of orders for that. And so obviously that's not ideal for getting kids included. Like TCG is a big thing for Pokemon to get kids involved, and they've not been able to, and that's actually really bad for Pokemon. Yeah. And so, like, a lot of people don't realise it. They say, oh, Pokemon don't care, they just get their money. It's like, no. You're just thinking short term. Long term, this is very detrimental to Pokemon, and Pokemon wants this sorted fast.
I don't know if I think this would be a good idea, or if it's just an idea generally of expanding the fun pack system to where there is a product specifically that kids would want to collect that collectors would not want to collect. But
the issue is the collectors would hype anything up.
Yeah. And also, it's a seminal childhood moment, getting the first amazing card you ever got, and completely cutting that off would be a shame. Obviously, in our day, an amazing card was just a holo rare and not some ridiculous
and now
SIR.
That's what people just call, oh yeah, that's trash.
Yeah, it's a shame.
But they're not.
They're not. There's some wonderful cards in there.
Some very playable cards.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I've taken up a lot of your time here, Joe. Any final thoughts on where Pokemon's at? We're obviously, at the time of recording this, it is Valentine's Day. We're spending it together instead of you with your lovely wife. We're just short of a couple of weeks into Pokemon Day. Where are you at with it all?
Well, I think we're just going to get surprised. A lot of people say, oh, they do this, they'll do this, they'll do this. They've done this before, they'll do this before. It's like, Pokemon surprises us. They don't like to be predictable. And that's a thing which people continue to forget. Yeah. And so I think anything could happen. And it's part of why I keep doing what I do, because nothing's the same. It's not the same thing day after day. And I never know what I'm going to cover as the day starts. It might be Go, it might be anime, it might be Hatsune Miku.
Are you going to buy that? Are you going to buy that statue?
No. But it was literally Hatsune Miku this morning. I was up in the media room, had just had a chat. I looked at my phone and it's like, oh, there's a Miku thing I've got to deal with.
So surprises. Let's go Johto. Fingers crossed.
Well, I have so many issues with that sentence. Let's go Johto.
Johto's the best region. What are you talking about? Gen 2 best gen?
Johto's the shortest region.
Yeah, but it's got the best Pokedex. Pound for pound, the Pokemon that were introduced in Johto clear any other generation.
Do they?
Do you have a specific favourite?
What generation?
Yeah.
Well, in terms of species.
Let's go for that, because it detaches a lot of the nostalgia. What's got the strongest national dex?
Strongest national dex?
Oh, no, there's like the strongest regional dex, rather.
I'm going to have to say Alola.
I thought you were going to say Kanto there.
No. I'm old, but I'm not insane.
Oh, thank you very much, Joe.
No worries.
VGC is supported by Patreon. Check out patreon.com/videogameschronicle for more podcasts, ad-free browsing, and extra content. Thank you for your support.